So, Disney has got to a point so low that it's even making fun of itself. That can't be good. With Disney Studios as deep in the gutter as it had been in the 1940s, it was up to Pixar to fly, to infinity and beyond. It took a long time for Pixar to have a notably weak film, but even the Cars franchise has a strong, albeit 9-year-old boy, fan base. By the way, I won't be looking at the Cars films here. I subjected myself to half of the first one once, I won't be punishing myself any further. That's what the Disney sequels were for. So, the good Pixar films. Colette is probably one of the most overtly feminist characters Disney has ever produced, in that she outright states it.
Rules designed to make it impossible for women to enter this world. But still I'm here.
Normally this kind of blatant revelation of character would bug me, but it sort of works here for two reasons. One, she's voiced by Janeane Garofalo, herself an outspoken advocate of women's rights. Two, the prevalent message of the movie is anyone can cook. They mostly represent this by showing that a literal rodent can make better food than most humans, but on a deeper level, it's about equality and creativity and setting aside prejudices for a greater cause. So Colette getting a job at the only restaurant in Paris whose founder preached this moral really fits. Had we only seen her at work, she probably wouldn't have been as interesting, and I'm not altogether certain I would have even included her in Princess Project. Getting to know her outside of the kitchen, however, elevates her above just a woman working. We've had that before, and I've complained long and loud. She's much softer in her everyday life, though she doesn't by any means lose her bite. Her relationship with Linguini, yes, that really is his name, is done quite well. They have a natural chemistry, despite being two rather different people, or maybe even because of that. Brad Bird has always had a talent for creating well-developed characters and raising believable relationships out of them. Colette shows a lot of faith in Linguini, and supports him well. A good example of this is when he's trying to give a rallying speech to the chefs. A trope I can't stand is the bumbling man, fix-it-all woman one, and that scene could easily have gone that way. She could have done it all for him and not given him the chance to grow, or just let him ramble embarrassingly with her hands clasped to her face. But, though he's clearly struggling, she actually allows him the opportunity to redeem it himself, only stepping in at the last possible moment to take over from him. I would have liked to see more of them together, honestly, but this film has a lot going on, and they are far from being the main focus. So for what we got, I was satisfied and entertained. Eve, like Colette, almost didn't make it into this series. I mean, how am I supposed to talk about the personality, romance and gender roles of a literal robot? But, as I proved by studying the Disney sequels, I am nothing if not up for a challenge. Like a lot of people, I vastly prefer the first half of the movie to the second. I don't dislike the human story as much as some people seem to, but while the environmental stuff is done well, it's the relationship between Eve and Wally that is truly gripping. As I said, it's hard to talk about the gender issues of robots, because they have no gender roles. This gives them kind of a Schrodinger's relationship in that they simultaneously have the least cliched and most cliched romance ever. It's cliched in that it develops mostly by what Wally has seen in old movies. Holding hands at sunset, dancing together, singing duets. You know, the purely romantic part of romance. But it transcends that. By heeding the cliches, their partnership becomes just that, a partnership. In wanting to abide by the superficial aspects of courtship, Wally becomes genuinely chivalrous, protecting Eve no matter what personal cost to him. He even looks after her when she doesn't realise it. By emulating love, he experiences real love. Similarly, by following her mission directive and pursuing the discovery of life on Earth, Eve finds herself needing Wally, getting to know him and forming a connection, until she finds herself seeking his company not just because she needs to, but because she wants to. In short, the love story between two machines is more organic than most human couples we've had out of Disney, and even Pixar. Join me next time for the first official Disney princess in a very long time, and the first black Disney princess ever, Tiana.